We are less than 22 days from the NFL season kicking off, which officially means it is mock draft season. If you haven't spent your entire day listening to fantasy football podcasts, reading fantasy football articles, and splashing in fantasy football tweets, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, Aiden. You're definitely not getting prepped for fantasy redraft season, I can tell you that.
You're not grinding.
Can't run from the grind. Can't stop from it. Today's mock draft, we're going to be drafting from the 4 and the 8. Aiden is going to be drafting from the 4 spot. I'm going to be drafting from the 8. Our last mock draft, if you haven't watched it yet with me, Keegan, and Aiden, we drafted from the 2, the 7, and I think the 11. So all 3 different zones of the draft. We're going to go pick by pick, giving our thoughts on why we're going to select this player. We're going to give our strategy. If we go 0 RB, hero RB, robust RB, we're going to give you kind of our insight and why we're doing that and how we're going to approach each pick. After the draft, we're going to go ahead and kind of break down how we thought we fared and if we had a mistake or we should have pivoted somewhere else, where we would have done it. Aiden, are you ready to kick things off?
I'm ready to roll, man.
All right.
I'm ready to go here.
Let's do this. I'm starting the draft.
All right, so here we go. So a different order than I would have expected those 3 guys to go, but that is how I would expect the top 3 guys to go, which leads me to a decision here. I'm not a big Kelsey guy this early. As much fun as he is to own, not my style. So that takes me to really only 2 people. It's either Tyreek Hill or Cooper Kupp, who, if you haven't listened to the last episode yet, I deemed as my favorite first-round pick, which backs me into a corner to a degree. But for the sake of kind of just switching things up and having some fun, I'm going to go with the cheetah, and I'm starting with absolute blazing speed out of the gate. Give me Tyreek Hill at the 1-4.
Okay. This is shaking out how I'm a little caught off guard here because Kelsey is now available at the 1-8. Bijan is available here in Saquon Barkley. So normally at the 1-8, if I wasn't able to get, if one of these receivers didn't fall to me, like a Kupp or a Hill or potentially even a Diggs, I'm usually going to be debating between Saquon and Bijan. Now, we are very, very, very much big fans of Bijan Robinson on this podcast. However, there are some concerns about Arthur Smith's usage. He's already saying they're going to ride the hot hand. It's about winning games. He said that in terms of how they're going to deploy Tyler Algier or Bijan Robinson. So, again, I get it. Bijan's going to play a ton. However, are his targets, are his touches locked in stone? And it really doesn't appear that way. In terms of taking a running back this high and this early, I want 300 guaranteed touches. And I'm going to get that with Saquon Barkley. But Travis Kelce is the ultimate trump card. However, are we buying the top on Travis Kelce? Is that the best season he will ever have? Those are the kind of questions that are bouncing around in my head. And if I take Kelce here, I probably am going to take Mahomes in the second round. This is going to be a really weird build. I don't think I want to do that. For the sake of this draft here, I want to start with a hero RB approach, and I'm going to take Saquon Barkley.
There he is. I thought you might go Bijan, but Saquon's the safer pick.
At 8? At the 8th spot? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I'm a little taken aback here because Nick Chubb has fallen. I don't think...
Are you double dipping RB?
I don't think Nick Chubb is going to fall, but I can't pass up on Nick Chubb at the 2.5. It's between Nick Chubb and Garrett Wilson here for me. I love Garrett Wilson. Getting him in the second round, he's one of my favorite second-round picks. It just seems like he's going to be an absolute smash with Aaron Rodgers. I do have concerns about pass volume in that offense. I think talent-wise, setup-wise, Garrett Wilson is going to be incredible efficiency-wise. But how many times is this team going to throw? Like, is this going to be a team that just establishes the hell out of the ball and turns around and gives their running backs 20, 30 touches a game and only throws the ball 18 to 22 times to the great defense? Those are some of the concerns that I have. Now, that might sound dumb in 2.5 months when Aaron Rodgers is on his way to his 3rd MVP in 4 years, a la Tom Brady, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I'd rather bet on having 2 absolute workhorses at running back, and I'm going to take Nick Chubb.
That's a pretty fun start. Come on, bring... Oh, Snipe City population me. That's tough.
You wanted Pollard?
I
Oh
did.
no, you got
Ugh.
Cheetah and Pollard is living your dream, man.
This okay, so now I'm in a really tough spot. Um
No, you won't. Would you do it?
I don't know. If you leave the first 2 rounds without a running back, it can get dark pretty fast for you. I'm in a blender here. I don't really want Josh Jacobs.
Would you double dip on the Miami receivers? Is that something that you
I don't think
conceptually
so.
you would do?
I don't think so.
Just, I want you to click it just so I know what it looks like, because that would be
No,
absurd. It'd be
I can't
absurd.
do it. And I've been a Mondre hater. Josh Jacobs makes the most amount of sense here. He's gonna end up playing, I think. But if he gets hurt, he's just gonna kind of silent quit, which is also an issue. Oh, this is not where I want it to be. I might pivot here. I think I've got an idea actually. So I think what I'm gonna do is take one of my favorite wide receivers in this year's draft in Chris Olave. What I'm gonna do is I'm gambling on Travis Etienne coming back to me. I'm get I'm gonna get a little risky here. Let's see if it works out. So we're
Oh
good.
my goodness,
So the plan?
Jalen Waddle is staring you in the face.
No, I can't go 3. If this was a best ball draft, I'm considering it. In a PPR redraft, you've got to have some absolute stones to go 3 wide out start. You'd be in an awesome spot. Now, I got to get a running back here, and I love Travis Etienne. I think he's going to have a monster year 3, what is really actually his year 2, if you really think about it. His first full year removed from the injury. I think the dude's going to get a ton of volume, both in the rushing and passing game. Okay, crisis averted. We're feeling a little better with how that shook out.
And this is the issue with starting running back. Running back is I really have to get uncomfortable with some of the top receiver options on the board right now, because I'm not. I don't think I'm going to take a quarterback here. Actually, I'm going to take a quarterback here. I don't really want to take T. Higgins or Najee Harris or Joe Burrow.
You bench your own arm
I
there.
don't think I'm going to take Jahmyr Gibbs. I think I'm going to bank on Calvin Ridley, Debo Samuel, maybe one of these other. Oh, geez. I could just take a quarterback on the other end, too, actually. No, I got to go wide receiver here. Oh, this is not where you want to be. I don't think I can do T again after how much he hurt me last year. I don't think I can sign up for the T. Higgins experience.
Yeah, Zach Taylor kind of betrayed you, huh? Do you still have beef with him?
I have post-traumatic Zach Taylor disorder. It is not fun. I can tell you that. Oh, I am in a blender right now. This is why I don't like starting running back. Here's what I'm going to do.
This draft kind of broke us for being, 40 picks in here? Both of us have been in a tough spot.
Here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take Lamar Jackson. I just don't see a lot of guys right now on the board. They're going to outscore Lamar Jackson. And I'm going to bank on a wide receiver coming back to me. I don't really love any of the wide receivers here or there, so I might as well just take my favorite player in this spot, and that's Lamar.
You're looking for Ridley on the comeback, huh?
Okay, that's what we like to call a worst-case situation.
Because now Amari Cooper is just staring at you in the face as
Anyone that
kind of the last guy in that group.
anyone that follows this channel knows that I am not the biggest Amari Cooper fan, and I really have no choice. I really don't have a choice here. I could reach a round of ADP and dip into some of the guys I really am looking to attack or draft. However, I might just have to take a player that I just really like. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going robust RB here. My favorite pick on the board right now is none other than Kenneth Walker. I think he's the workhorse in Seattle. I want to be in on this Seattle offense. Kenneth Walker is my running back 3. I'm taking it every single day. And remember, for this draft, it is PPR format. We are starting 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes, and a tight end. So, again, PPR format, 2 flexes, along with 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs. So I'm gonna have Kenneth Walker in my number one number one spot there in terms of my flex.
You're a madman, I tell you.
Robust. This is a robust RB draft, fellas. That is insane.
So we're taking him here. It's just that simple. We're taking him. I've got 2 wideouts. I'm gonna get a running back on the way back. There's a couple right before the. I'm kind of banking on Damian or Miles still being there. If not, I might kick the can. But I'm kind of just gonna gamble again and take my favorite QB target in fantasy. Come on, be good to me. I've been good. There we go. Dean Pierce.
Christian
All
Watson's
right.
already gone. This is a nightmare.
This is J.K. Dobbins is actually looking at me a little funny too. Just returned from the pup. Okay. Frick. Okay. Well, it's definitely between these 2 guys. I've ruled out Alexander Madison on pretty much all of my lists. I'm not buying the hype, especially not in the 5th round. I'm not doing that as my running back 2. Is it Damian Pierce or J.K. Dobbins? I think Pierce could see more overall touches. Dobbins is probably going to see more meaningful red zone touches. And I don't know what that's going to equate to. I'm going to go with Dobbins. I'm going Dobbins. I got Dobbins, ETN, Tyreek Olave, and Field. I'm feeling good.
Okay, so I get my first real break here. Yeah, Dobbins was a nice selection. So I'm going to have to take my wide receiver 1 here. There are a lot of tight ends and running backs here in this range. So a major break came my way. I am looking at Jerry Jeudy and I'm looking at Drake London to lead my wide receiver core. Both have question marks. Jerry Jeudy broke out towards the end of last season. He's going to play in the slot, might be the number 1 option in a Sean Payton offense. Are the Broncos going to be good? I don't know. That's a question mark.
That's what we hope for. That's what we think.
The other guy I'm looking at here, wide receiver, sophomore wide receiver, broke out towards the end of last season, absolute freak of a human being in terms of his size and athleticism. I don't know if he's the number 1 target. I'd probably say he is the number 1 target in the Atlanta passing attack. That offense has systemic concerns.
Volume-wise, for sure.
Are they going to throw it 22, 24 times a game? I don't know. Those are some of the questions. However, I'm just going to bet big on talent, and I'm going to take Drake London.
The London versus Jeudy pick is a hard one. It's like if you're going for ceiling, like I think London makes way more sense there. I think Judy's got the.
Oh, okay.
Damn, were you gonna do?
Oh, no,
Pitts?
I wasn't gonna do Pitts. Okay, so I just survived. I just survived. So this is best case situation for me. I actually really like all the wide receivers that are going in the 6th and 7th round, but I think my top pick out of all of these options is one of my favorite players in the entire NFL. It's one of my favorite players on my favorite hometown team. I am a San Francisco 49er fan. I think there are systemic questions about the offense he plays in. Do we have enough mouths to feed, right? Like, is the ball going to go to him on a consistent basis? There are going to be some questions in week in and week out volatility, but I'm going to bet big on an ascending talent, and I'm going to scoop up Brandon Ayuk as my wide receiver too. Easy money.
That kind of worked out for you well with those 2 wideouts.
I wish Kenneth Walker was a Calvin Ridley, but I'm going to live with it.
What can you do?
Yeah, you
right?
can't control that. You can't control it.
This is like pretty peak running back dead zone here, like what I'm looking at, and it kind of gives me the ick, as they're saying these days. I'm getting a bit of the ick looking at.
You sound like my
I
fiance.
do love James Conner.
You sound like my fiance. She gets the ick when I talk about fantasy football.
Dalvin Cook, Isaiah Pacheco, like that doesn't get me out of bed on a Sunday morning. It just doesn't. So I think for that reason, we're looking at wide receivers here, and there's a couple that I really like. Here. We've got Mike Williams, who's an absolute beast when he stays on the field. Christian Kirk should be an absolute target hog again in that offense, even with Ridley. And then you got Mike Evans, who everyone's kind of counting out, but just won't stop going for 1,000 plus. Like I don't think it matters. I think he's still gonna do it again. But in my opinion, who has the most upside here? I think I want to tie myself to an elite offense, so I've ruled out Mike Evans. And at this point, these are both the number 2 targets in their offense. You kind of can't go wrong with these 2 picks. Kirk's probably better for injury purposes, but Mike Williams, I think, has a higher ceiling. So for that reason, he is now my wide receiver 3. You and Keegan have brainwashed me to Mike Williams.
Just so much upside. So much upside with Mike Williams.
I'm still not 100% in, but I really
Sixth round? I mean, come on. In that offense?
I know. And now Christian Kirk is still here. Oh.
and another guy's there that we both like.
I know.
That we're big fans of.
JSN is in the mix too now.
There's another running back too that I really like, staring you in the face.
Yeah, Rashad Monty. I'm just trying to think what running backs are going to be there at my next turn. Do I go 3 and 3 here, or do I just running backs are kind of gold in fantasy,
and you're kind of out of the dead zone. You're you're almost at your. I'd say the dead zone is that 3 to 6, and
yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Rachaad White. Wasn't the most efficient rusher last year, but is set to see a ton of volume. He caught, I think, just shy of 50 passes as a rookie last year, which is pretty awesome. Game scripts and noodle arm Baker Mayfield could just be like check down gold with him. So I'm gonna go with Rachaad as my RB3. I'm feeling good there. I'm feeling pretty good through 7 rounds.
Wow. Okay. This is amazing. This is big time for the program. I really need to take another wide receiver here. I have 2 guys that are really looking at me funny right now.
Oh, those are 2 great picks there.
One
Even
is
3.
Yeah, one of them's Deontay Johnson. The other is Jackson Smith and Njigba. Deontay Johnson is a guy that desperately needs, desperately will probably find the end zone more this season. I think it's almost guaranteed that he will score a touchdown. He scored none last year, so I feel pretty confident about him.
He has to regress at least one.
Yeah, and we're looking at a guy who's going to get 140 targets, Deontay Johnson. The other guy is a sexier name, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I already have Kenneth Walker. Am I going to double dip on this offense with a guy who probably will only play in 3 wide receiver sets to start the season? I think if I'm looking at this realistically, which one of these wide receivers could break the slate and win a fantasy league? Though I think Deontay Johnson has shown that in his range of outcomes previously. Just the unknown of the rookie, that upside of Jackson Smith-Njigba, I want in on that. And I play in a lot of keeper leagues. Yep. I want to draft JSN because I will get to keep him the following season if he's good. I'm going to take Jackson Smith-Njigba as my wide receiver 3.
JSN, your wide receivers are young, but that is a fun group, my friend. No way is he still there for you, too.
Oh, wow. I thought Dotson was going to be here on the wrap for me. So Dotson was a guy that I was planning for. Treylon Burks just went off the board. Treylon Burks, when this comes out, he may or may not have a season-ending injury. So just somebody keep in mind of Treylon coming off the board there.
Yep, but little risky.
Dotson was somebody that I thought was going to fall here. I already called out Deontay Johnson. If he's in the 8th round, that's the easiest click in the draft. He's going to see 140 targets. I think the Steelers' offense.
Your 4th wideout?
The Steelers' offense is going to make a jump next season. I think they're going to be a lot more efficient. I think they're going to be a lot more productive. I think they will score more touchdowns. I think Kenny Pickett is fine. I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people like to think he is. So I'm going to bet on this offense.
He's fine.
I'm going to take Deontay Johnson as my wide receiver 4. This is, dude, is going robust the move? Because this is kind of working really well.
The wide receivers are kind of falling into your lap. Okay. This is an interesting range of picks here. Just a ton of wideouts. You got both Washington running backs. I've got it. Njoku doesn't really do it for me. I'm probably just going to keep waiting on tight end. I don't want 2 of the same wide receivers teams. Man. I don't love this, actually. This is a PPR league. 3 running backs. Those are the wide receivers that would still be there for me. I think I'm going to go with one of my guys. I'm picking another guy out of my round-by-round favorites, and I'm going with Antonio Gibson as my running back 4. I think in a PPR league, he's screaming value in round 8. Could be an absolute beast given how they claim they want to use him. And then the guy I was hoping fell is still here. This is awesome. I'm picking Zay Flowers, who just seems to be taking people's ankles every single day of the week on the timeline. Give me Zay Flowers, who I think will easily ascend into that wide receiver 1 role with a room full of guys that, in my opinion, are not that great.
Love the Zay pick. Zay in the 9th round, man. That is...
His routes make me feel something. I'm not going to lie. It is crisp. He is low in his routes. It just snatch that ankle, just collecting them like infinity stones right now.
Zay in the 9th round is... That might be making one of my favorite picks when I do my episode. I'm really going to draft between 2 guys here, and it's 2 running backs. I'm going to go back to the running back well. And really, I might just bet on this guy being here on the wrap. But I think I'm going to take Rashad Penny here. The upside is absurd at running back 4.
I was thinking about waiting for him on the way back and getting a wide receiver.
At running back 4, the upside's crazy. Also, Gabe Davis is kind of looking at me funny now that
He's had a good training camp, they said. He's had a good camp.
Whoa. I just psyoped myself on the clock. Okay. I'm actually going to take Gabe Davis, and I'm going to see if this other running back is going to be here on the wrap. So let's see. I'm going to take Gabe Davis.
It's either Sharbo or Juice. There goes Sharbo.
Oh.
There goes Juice. Which one was it?
I wanted Khalil Herbert big time.
Yeah,
I wanted Khalil Herbert
it
big
was
time.
the Juice. And then Samaje just to rub it into his plan C.
That was tough. That was tough. So this is a great example when we go back at the end of this of why that was kind of a swing and a miss on my part here. But also Elijah Moore was somebody I was going to target here in the 10th round. He is gone. So I think Gabe Davis is a fine pick, ton of upside. I don't think it's going to kill me because I didn't take Khalil Herbert, but I really wanted Khalil Herbert there. I'm a huge fan of Khalil Herbert in the 9th and 10th round. I think at this point in the draft, I need to take another running back. I think the ceiling here is really interesting for this running back, but the floor could be like plays 5 to 10 snaps a week, especially at the start of the season. But I think Devon Achane is somebody that has that league-winning upside in the last 6 to 8 weeks of the year. We already saw the PPR upside when he was playing in the preseason.
Yep.
I think it might be kind of tough sledding for him to run the rock, but I think Mike McDaniel's going to get him schemed up. He could hit some big plays. It's going to take a while before you're able to start Devon Achane. But if you're looking,
you got to be patient.
If you're looking at my lineup here right now as it currently stands, I have 3 absolute studs at running back. And I'm going to go Devon Achane here. And the only other pick that I'd even consider is Dalton Kincaid. So Dalton Kincaid, I could create kind of this funny little Bills stack if I wanted to. But I'm going to go with Achane. I'm going to take a late round tight end. This might be something I think back on later on in the draft as pivot points, but I'm going to take Achane here.
I'm not going to lie. Every time I say his name, I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
I think it's Devon Achane. I think that's how you say it.
I think so too, but it's just not a natural word out of my mouth, and every time I'm I feel like I just disrespected this man. There's no way I said that name right.
You did. People are pissed. People are pissed with you.
Yeah, people are in the comments ready to fight. Just Aggie Nation ready to hurt me. Okay, so I've got 4 wideouts. I've got 4 running backs. I've got my dude. Kincaid's kind of looking at me here. He is staring me dead in the eyes. He's probably someone who you might need to take another tight end with. I don't know, just given we think he's going to be awesome, but we know how rookie tight ends have typically performed, so it's... But I want him. It is that shiny new toy that could go real fast.
Upside.
I think I'm going to do it because I like someone on the way back that I think is going to be there for me as my wide receiver 5 that I feel really good about. So I'm going Kincaid here. And now we pray to the Lord. And there he is. And then Sky Moore just shows up wrapped like a nice tidy present in the 11th round. If Sky Moore is there for you in the 11th round, just do it. Just do it. It's likely the wide receiver 1 in Patrick Mahomes' offense. You shouldn't have to think very hard about this, especially at this point. It's my wide receiver 5. Who cares if it misses? he may not even have to play much anyways. I feel pretty good about the top 4 guys ahead of him. So Sky Moore it is. Boom, we're cruising into the 12th round.
Okay, I don't really know what I'm gonna do here. I don't have a plan, so that's always fun. I definitely need a tight end here. This guy
Here
doesn't.
they
He
are.
doesn't have it. So it's between Tyler Higbee and Greg Dulcich. So Greg Dulcich has
Yeah.
really strong upside, right? We are huge. We are huge Greg Dulcich fans on this podcast. We preach the book of Dulcich. However, the preseason stuff comes out. He's playing 50% of the snaps. He's like basically pass only tight end, which is fine. We want him to be out there in pass situations. However, like that's going to eat into his route participation, and we want our tight ends on the field running routes. And Tyler Higbee's going to be on the field running routes. The guy saw a 22% target share last season. He's not going to offer you much in upside, but he might be that new Zach Ertz where he just gives you that 5 for 50 every week. Count it. Set it, forget it.
And from a tight end, like with where the tight end position is today, dude, you'll take 10 points every week. Maybe you get a touchdown on top of that, 215. Ooh wee.
I'm going to go with it's not an upside play here, but I've taken a really big upside pick in Devon Chain and Gabe Davis. So I'm going to go with a little bit safer floor here. Fill out the tight end position with someone I know is going to get looks week in and week out. I'm going to take Tyler Higbee here pretty easily in the 11th round.
The Moon Man in round 12 too is an awesome pick.
Okay, so now we're in the 12th round.
Mooney could have huge upside.
Sam Laporta's looking at me kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. I could double dip on tight end. I could have the exciting rookie out of Detroit to pair with the slow-moving tight end with the Los Angeles Rams in Tyler Higbee. But I'm going to go for upside here. I think this player has some of the most upside in all of fantasy football. I think he has a specific role in his offense to start. But if anything were to happen to the bell cow back in this offense and Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby has that league-winning upside. I think I'm going to make a big swing here. I'm going to take
That's an
Tank
awesome
Bigsby
pick.
here in the 12th round. It's my 5th running back.
What do we do here? I'm debating if I get Dalton Kincaid any help or not. Because I kind
You need a vet to shore up the
of
room.
don't want to. I kind of don't want to. So I'm actually gonna take a pick here that I probably would not have done all year until the news broke this Tuesday. And in my opinion, taking this guy as my running back 5, one, I like his touchdown upside. We've seen what he's done in Dallas. He's a beast in the red zone. And if anything happens to Ramondre, getting Zeke here at the end of the 12th round just kind of feels like a no-brainer. It's a nice little security blanket. Even if it doesn't work, who knows? But I think it's worth the gamble at this point, especially now that he's got a team and we kind of know what his role is going to be. So give me Zeke there as my running back 5. I kind of just want to do a fun pick here.
Do a fun pick.
So I'm going to go get my guy. One of my new guys. Actually, no, I've been in on him. I actually had him in my rookie preview, so I've been a day one Tank Dell fan who's absolutely lighting it up lately.
Wow.
Had a tutty in his first preseason game, had 3 more tutties today in shared practices. This guy could very well end up being the wide receiver 1 in that offense from what it seems like. And I'm just scooping him up casually as my last pick. So Tank Dell, welcome to the team. Over Nico. I can't believe I did that.
Okay, so this is an opportunity for me to take one of my favorite players in all of fantasy, or I can shore up my tight end room and have 2 high quality starters. So first and foremost, the tight end is Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett is a tight end in a good offense attached to a really good quarterback, Justin Herbert. Typically tight ends in good offenses with good quarterbacks tend to do well and tend to hit above expectation. Gerald Everett's had a pretty good NFL career, athletic guy. Where's the number 7? Can't forget about that. Move him up your ranks.
Cannot forget that. He's fast.
The next guy I'm thinking about taking is another handcuff situation who has a third down role, I think already. He might have even a bigger role than we think. But if anything were to happen to the bell cow in the offense,
Oh, I love this.
we're
pick.
talking about wheels up here. And I think it's pretty easy
Absolutely.
at this point in the draft. Gerald Everett, I can pick up off waivers probably. I think
He'll be
I
there.
think I got to take Jalen Warren as my last pick here in the draft. Jalen Warren is somebody that I take in
I love
best ball.
Jalen
I
Warren.
click every single time. It's a little bit different in redraft, right? Who knows what his role will look like, how many touches he gets per game. But I just know that if something were to happen to Najee Harris and Jalen Warren gets we're
Beast.
talking like a Tony Pollard type player in terms of speed and burst and big playability. I think he's a really special guy, and I think he has absolute league winning upside if he had a bigger role. So I'm going to take Jalen Warren.
Yeah, Jalen Warren in the 13th is pretty awesome. If you're a Najee drafter and you don't take Jalen Warren,
You've made a huge mistake.
I don't know. Yeah, like you made like your draft was a failure. Like it's so easy because of how cheap he is. Same with Bigsby and ETN, really. But I think I took ETN. But whatever, it is what it is.
Okay, so here's how we did this. So Aiden, you did a hero RB. I don't know. What would you call your approach? A modified hero? You took two dead zone
No,
running backs with two really good wide receivers to start. Why don't you break down your approach and strategy, and if there are any not mistakes, but any pivot points where you could have done something differently?
yeah. So I think you might be looking at the wrong one. I'm at the 4 slot here.
Yeah, you're
I
Hill,
started with
Olave, and then you went ETN in the third.
okay, yeah. Yeah, I thought you said hero RB. No, yeah. So I hammered wide receiver to start here. Unless it's Christian McCaffrey, I'm not really taking a running back. Probably in the top 6, maybe 7 picks. So I went with Cheetah. I love his absolutely game breaking ability. Those 30, 40 burgers that win you weeks pretty much automatically. Then I took Chris Olave, who I couldn't be more stoked in, with his year 2 with Derek Carr, an upgrade at the quarterback position. The boy Travis Etienne as my first running back. Feel pretty good about taking my first one there and landing him. Then I got my guy. We got Justin Fields as my QB. Got Dobbins on the way back. So at this point, I had 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Really just going to start hammering BPA. Got Mike Williams on the next round, a slice of the Chargers offense. 2 of my favorite running backs in what you could maybe still call the dead zone. You're maybe leaving it by the time you get to Gibson, but big fan of Rashad, big fan of Gibson. Both guys are going to catch a ton of balls, so nice little weekly floor with those 2. Zay Flowers, one of my favorite rookie wideouts. Dalton Kincaid, a pretty fun swing at tight end. Thing is, if you're taking a tight end this late and you miss, it really doesn't matter. I can drop him to waivers, and a guy like Gerald Everett's just there waiting for me. So you can take that swing on the shiny new toy. Then I got Sky Moore, potential wide receiver 1. You got the ghost of Ezekiel Elliott, who could fall in for another 6 to 10 touchdowns. And then we got a little fun, and we got Tank Dell to round up the squad. So really nice team here. I like it.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting approach. So I would say don't leave your drafts without a running back in the first 3 rounds. You're gonna need one. Just
It'd be
you,
dark.
you
Yeah.
you're gonna need one. I think ETN versus a lot of these guys makes a ton of sense.
Yep.
ETN, Ramondre, Brees, Kenneth Walker, Najee Harris. These guys all have questions, right? So
For
we're a
sure.
big ETN fans on this podcast, and a lot of people love to hate on ETN, but whatever. I'm a
So be it.
believer. I think he'll be really good and effectively his sophomore season. So I started things off with a running back. Seeing Cup and Diggs off the board there made things a little tricky. I was choosing between Saquon and Kelsey and even Bijan. I went with Saquon. Saquon's going to see 300 plus touches. So I think that's just as safe a pick as you can have in the first round. Wrapping things back, I was expecting maybe an Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was going to maybe go
Robust.
Garrett Wilson, maybe Chris Olave, but Nick Chubb falls in my lap. Saquon and Nick Chubb. I mean, you got to.
What more can
I
you
mean,
ask for?
you're
What more can you
you're
ask for?
walking into each week just you're feeling pretty good with those 2 dudes as your running back. So it's hard to pass that up. And then it became a question of who's going to be my wide receiver 1. I really didn't want to draft T. Higgins or Debo or Ridley. I mean, I wanted Ridley, but it felt a little early for Ridley. And Keenan's fine, but it felt a little early for Keenan. And I just went with best player available, and that felt like Lamar Jackson. Felt like an absolute no-brainer to bring Lamar into the squad. I feel really good about him passing the ball more. I think Lamar is prime for a renaissance-type fantasy season, so I'm happy to ride the Lamar train this season. After that, Kenneth Walker. I just really didn't want to draft Amari Cooper. I wasn't going to do it. No, you can't make me. You can't make me do it. And I feel really good about the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th round receivers. So I took Kenneth Walker there, and then it was just hammer time. 5 consecutive receivers off the board, all guys with huge upside, all guys with consistent floors. I'm going to be playing 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 flexes. I'll figure it out week in and week out. I feel really good about my 5 wide receivers. I avoided the dead zone effectively outside of Kenneth Walker. Just hammered upside.
Completely jumped the dead
said,
zone.
I'm
You
good.
did not touch it.
Said I'm good. And then afterwards, it was just kind of high upside plays with Devon Chain, Bigsby at Warren, and then Tyler Higbee's a really, really safe pick. But like again, I love Pat Fryermuth, and I'm a fan of David Njoku. But at the end of the year, if they scored the same amount of fantasy points as Tyler Higbee, are you going to be that surprised? Like truly, are you going to be that surprised? So Higbee felt like a safe pick. So I would say this is a robust RB. This is a robust RB and avoid the dead zone, hammer wide receivers. I can't believe I did that. Yeah. It's very different than my first drafts, but I feel pretty damn good about this team.
It ended up pretty good. We took pretty different approaches here, but I like where they both ended up here.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Aiden, for hopping on. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you're still watching, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. We have tons of content on our feed. We have rankings episodes. We have position breakdown episodes. We have breakout candidates. Aiden just revealed some of his favorite picks. We're going to be dropping Keegan's favorite picks coming up soon and more mock drafts coming. If best ball is your thing, we got a ton of that as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, supporting Aiden. Before we jump, you got anything to say to the viewers at home?
Get your mocks in. Redraft season's here. You want to be prepared.
Get your mocks in with the RTM boys.
Get your mocks in.
All right, until next time, everybody.